Hello, everyone. My name is Yana Lyashenko, and I'm a Google Logistics Specialist. I handle delivering a business's target audience with the required parameters. In today's video, we're going to add a reviews feed in XML format to the Google Merchant Center Next service. I'll be demonstrating this for the OpenCart platform, showing a plugin that can implement this directly, but the principles will apply to everyone. So, what do we need to activate the reviews program? First, we need to enable this program itself in Merchant Center Next. This is done quite easily. You need to click the gear icon in the top right, then select add-ons, or something similar, extensions, or whatever it's called there. In my case, in English, it's called add-on. In the overview section, right here, we find product ratings or product review. The name might vary a bit depending on the translation. What do you need to activate this program? First, you need to fill out this form, so it can be activated. Let me switch to the correct one now. Why do you need to fill it out? So that you can be individually approved for this program. I don't know why they haven't automated this, but it is what it is. So, since I'll be generating the feed through a certain plugin, in other words, I don't have a third-party aggregator for these reviews. For example, there are third-party aggregators like Trustpilot, which you can connect to your website. For example, you can probably do this conveniently through Shopify, and maybe they have it on OpenCart as well, but that would cost extra. We're going to use our own module. What's the name of this module? I'll show you now. It's this module, right here, which some people call SPSEO. In my case, it's remarketing all-in-one, for example. I'm going to use it to generate reviews. So you need to install it, and the link to it is in the comments below. If you're using a different module, that's totally fine. So, what do we need to do? We need to finish filling out this form. Yes, here it is. That's right, yes. We sell physical products and have more than 50 reviews. My client has more than 50 reviews. And here you need to go through this entire form. It's not very complicated. I'll just click through it myself now without you, so to speak, but there won't be anything difficult here. This is the merchant center name, and accordingly, your merchant number, which is located at the top right. It's a numeric value, so you'll see it there. Your homepage URL, your first and last name, the final company name directly, and the email address. That's specifically needed there, the one to which feedback or responses about this service should be sent. That's it. This form itself is not difficult to fill out. So, for example, she told me that my application was sent directly to them. Next, I need to aggregate the feed from Merchant Center reviews. And a little later, the program itself will be approved so that we can connect it directly to our site. So, how do I do this on OpenCart? First of all, in the main settings and diagnostics, I need to enable this plugin. This won't be very difficult. You do this by activating the status with the toggle switch so that it turns blue, meaning it's active. Next, I need to go to the Google Merchant Center Reviews section. Let me remind you that it generates a feed based on your reviews and your website. I enable this part in the module, and it will even light up in a bright green, almost neon color. Next, I set the delivery country. In my case, it's just Ukraine, so I set it to UA, and for the number of days from the current date, I put 2 days. Which field should be used for GTIN, MPN, or SKU? Here's how I set it up, since I have the MPN entered in the SKU field, and the SKU, well, is in the SKU field as well. So you can swap these around if you need to. If you don't have a GTIN, MPN, or SKU, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Feeds now. The system can match reviews to your URLs. So when you generate the entire feed, it will include a link to the actual review, and there will be attributes specific to that product. And Google can also associate them with your product and display the reviews. So don't worry if you don't have a GTIN, MPN, or SKU. Of course, if you have these attributes, the quality of review matching will be higher. Plus, thanks to GTIN or MPN, you can potentially access reviews from other stores. But if you have your own reviews and you don't have these specific fields, then you can just use your own reviews directly. That's not a bad thing either. No one else will be able to access your own reviews or use them elsewhere. Then we turn on this switch, the Reviews Feed toggle. Click on the feed link. Now it's already generated for me, and right here, as you can see, there's a ton of different information. These are my reviews. And don't forget to definitely click the Save button in the top right corner, otherwise, well, nothing will be saved. After that, I copy this link of mine, go back to Merchant Center, and click on the gear icon again. Data Sources is the first drop-down item. Now I already have a tab here called Product Review Resources. This is a link to resources with product reviews. I click Add. So, basically, it was quite a long delay loading this section because it kept kicking me back to the main page. So let's continue. So, we went directly into our Merchant Center, clicked the gear icon in the top right, and selected Data Sources or Sources of Data. We see the Product Review Sources tab. Here, we click Add Product Review, and that's it. Now let's move on. I have a link to the feed here. I copy it and paste the link here. You set the upload schedule according to how often your feed will be updated. If you need to upload it differently, choose your preferred option. My feed is, by URL, generated in XML format. I click Continue. After that, the system will start loading these feeds. The only thing I don't like about this next Merchant Center is that it updates all the information very slowly. You can end up waiting a really long time to see if it updates or loads or not. The first thing you'll need to do, since I literally generated the feed in just a couple of clicks, is to check whether the reviews have actually loaded and if everything is okay with them. So first, we'll be waiting together to see if they actually load. So basically, we're going to take a look now. You see, there are already 11 product reviews here. We need to check if all of them have loaded here. I thought I had lunch here, but there are only 11 of them here. I only have 11 of them here. We'll need to collect them. 11 is still not a lot to gather data, but at least it's some information. After that, we can exit from here. There will also be reviews showing up. At the very bottom, on this left, Review Panel, and here there will be actual product reviews. Here, over the course of a few days, you'll need to check if everything is okay with them, because, as you can see, for example, mine don't have a title, and most likely they have some specific issues, but all of that will become clear a little later. In this case, because right now it just says, well, basically, for now it's just disapproved, but it's disapproved for some reason. Moreover, there are reviews that can even be rejected. The main thing is that the status here becomes active, then your reviews will start to show up. So, the situation could be that even here you might have reviews that are rejected, not yet moderated, or need to be sent for additional review, but the reviews will still be linked to your products. The main thing here is to get this active status. When it appears, this active or not active status, usually it happens within 7 business days, but it can sometimes take a little longer. Here, there is some kind of manual review of your application, in combination with your Merchant Center, and whether it's people, or automation, I didn't fully understand, since there are no visits to the site. They make the decision whether to activate it or not. It's important here that it becomes active. Now I'll show you one of the Merchant Centers that has active reviews, but without those TINs, or MPNs. Here's an example of another Merchant Center. Yeah, of course here it says something like ready to serve, ready to be shown, something might say meets review. Maybe there's no title or something like that in these reviews, but it's not really that important. The main thing is that the status here is live, meaning it's active. This program is activated, and it's collecting the relevant data. That's the most important thing. Ideally, you would have submitted at least 50 reviews. Well, we'll gradually collect them. I think with our client, we'll eventually get those 50 reviews. But still, just so you know, it's best to have 50 reviews, because then the stars will show up more readily. And the main thing is that it should be live. By the way, these reviews don't have TINs, MPNs, SKUs, EANs, or any of that stuff. Here, all reviews are, let's say, associated with the URL of the product, of this product. So, basically, in this simple way, you can add reviews to your Merchant Center through an XML file. Get your program verified, and start pulling in those star ratings. If you don't have TINs or MPNs, just collect your own reviews. This way, no one else will even be able to access your reviews. And secondly, the more positive reviews you collect, the better your ads will look. The only thing to watch out for is making sure you format the feed correctly.